Hello again, everyone, and welcome to Peekskill Lapolla Little League Baseball. I'm Joe DeChristopher, and we're here at Tompkins Park for tonight's Little League Interleague game between the Firefighters of the Peekskill Lapolla Little League, looking for their first win of the year, and Navajo of the Cortlandt National Little League with a record of 7-5. Should be a good game tonight. The Firefighters lost their last game 2-1, so they are playing much better, and they look to get their first victory tonight versus the Navajo. We'll be right back with the starting lineups and the start of tonight's game in just a second. Okay, and here are the starting lineups for tonight's game. Actually, the Firefighters, even though they're playing at their home field here at Tompkins Park, I believe are the visitors. And leading off for the Firefighters is Aiden Gabari. He will be leading off as Aiden Repole, the left fielder. Robert Garcia is the shortstop.
Okay.
Go ahead, Coach.
To give Mike Minor, for Mike, okay.
Oh, okay.
Got it. All right, cool.
Got it. Okay, thank you. Mike, you want to start that over? Okay.
Nope.
Okay, and here are the starting lineups for tonight's game for the Firefighters, who are actually the visitors, even though they're at their home field here at Tompkins Park because of the interleague play. They are actually the visitors. Leading off and playing left field is Aiden Repole. Batting second and playing shortstop, Robert Garcia. Batting third and playing center field is Christian Lent. Batting fourth and pitching is Jordan Lent. Batting fifth and playing first base is Alon Marine. Batting sixth and playing right field is Jaime Lopez. Batting seventh and catching is Josh Leal. The third baseman is Sulef Lore. Batting eighth and playing second base is Margaret Jennings. Batting ninth is Will Kingston, a DH. And batting 10th, another DH, Ramel Escobar. For the home team, Navajo, leading off and pitching is Aiden Gabari. Batting second and playing shortstop, Josh Shea. Batting third and playing first base, Josh Gillison. Batting fourth and playing center field, Matt Torres. Batting fifth and playing second base, Nick Kelly. Batting sixth and catching is Nick Fonseca. Batting seventh and playing first base is Kyle Perez. Batting eighth and playing left field, Max Iodice. Batting ninth and playing right field, Colin Kelly. And batting 10th is Chris Parks, the third baseman. And batting 11th in the order is Luke Solanovich. I'm going to get that wrong a couple times, Chris. Also left field. A couple players you will see have two positions because they're using the full batting order. Some will be on the bench as DHs and then enter the game in those positions. So we do full batting order here. And joining me is our president, Chris Hanslick. I drew a blank there for a second. Chris Hanslick. And Chris, this is your initial Peekskill Lapolla Little League broadcast game. Welcome.
Yes, it is. It's actually very, very exciting. I wasn't sure. I'm still a little nervous right now, but I'm sure as we get into the flow of the game, it
obviously,
will be,
as am I. I forgot your name for a second there.
Yeah,
but
we've
it's
only known each other for what, about 15 years?
Exactly. And this is our first broadcast of the year, thanks to Mike Minor, as usual.
Thank you to Mike.
Let's set the defense and get your umpires. It is our old friend John Pagan, our former board member for 14 or 15 years. John is umpired games for us many years, and he'll be doing tonight's game. The coaches for the Firefighters, we should mention, is John Egan, and his coach is Jay Lent. John being the manager, back for his second tour of duty as a manager here in the Peekskill Lapolla Little League, and his coach Jay Lent. And for Navajo, their manager is Jason Bopp, and his coaches are Dave Shea and Ricky Gillison. Setting the defense for the home team, Navajo. Playing first base is Josh Gillison. Second base, Nick Kelly. Shortstop, Josh Shea. Third base, Chris Parks. Left fielder, Luke Solanovich. We're going to go with that.
Solanovich sounds good to me.
Matt Torres in center and Colin Kelly in right. We may have Max Iodice in left field also. As we said, there are 11 kids in the batting order. Some will be in the field, some will not be in the field. So here we go, Chris. We're about ready to start. John is brushing the plate off. Exciting time here at Peekskill Lapolla Little League, our first broadcast of the year. Hopefully the rain holds off and we'll be ready to go.
Well, I'll tell you what, I was very surprised our field, and thanks to the city parks and public works / water crews that you know, take care of our fields with tender loving care. I mean, they've done some additional improvements over the last 4 or 5 years. They've improved, and our upper field, which is actually officially called Lapolla Field in honor of Catherine Lapolla, who is the wife of Ray Lapolla, one of our founding members. And they've really taken care of this field, and it is, I would say, tournament quality. As a matter of fact, our district, which we're a part of District 33, you know, has always asked us to, and we, again, this year we'll be hosting some Williamsport tournament games, local Williamsport tournament games this year. So. We're very honored to be able to do that again this year as well.
Yeah, we had a little weather this morning, a little rain. There was a little last night, even though we played the game up here last night. There was a little rain this morning. Our manager, John Egan, since he is retired from UPS and home a lot, was able to come up and check the field out earlier and said all 3 fields are in good playing condition. We do have a minor B game going on down below us on the William Rundle Field, and a T-ball game over the center field fence going on. So we have 3 games tonight, a full house. The weather, it's a little cloudy, a little overcast, no rain, no drops or anything, so we hopefully will be good to play the game.
I think so.
And the Firefighters are the home team. The Navajo were just out warming up their squad. We thought they might have been the home team with the schedule, but the Firefighters are home team. Jordan Lent is pitching tonight for the Firefighters. Jordan, a 12-year-old, big, tall, strong kid, probably one of the better players in our league. Good pitcher, good hitter, and is in his 3rd year, I believe, in the majors with the Firefighters. And setting the defense for the Firefighters, since they will be playing defense, Jordan is pitching. Josh Leal is the catcher. Alon Moraine is the first baseman. Margaret Jennings at second. Robert Garcia at short. Sulev Loyer at 3rd. And left fielder is Aiden Repole, center field Christian Lent, and right field Jaime Lopez. And they will have a couple extra players in their lineup. William Kingston and Ramil Escobar will be entering the game later on in the field, although they will bat the complete batting order, as will Navajo. And that's pretty much standard now in Little League, right, Chris?
Yeah, they actually, unbeknownst to us up until this year, because we've always been kind of a traditionalist, but what they do this time around is called roster batting. So whoever you have on in your dugout that day, everybody bats, and the only requirement is that they get their 6 consecutive outs in the field per Little League rules. So
I think that's a good idea. We did that years ago in the lower levels, in the minor Bs and the minor As, and it makes it easier for the coach not having to worry about getting at-bats for the kid, as long as you get the player in the field playing 6 outs, and you can do that any way you want. You can be 2 innings, 3 innings, however you want to split it up for the players who need to move in and out of the game.
Absolutely.
So I think Jordan is about ready. I think Aiden Gabari, who is pitching for the Navajo, is about ready. John Pagan is ready. And it looks like we're about ready to get started for tonight's game. Jordan Lent on the mound, Aiden Gabari at the plate for Navajo. Jordan's first pitch a little outside. Not much of a wind-up from Jordan, pretty simple, which is not a bad idea, right?
Not at all. Not at this level. You definitely want to teach kids about balance and keeping it simple.
That pitch in there for a strike. 1-1 now to Aiden Gabari. On deck is Josh Shea, the shortstop.
Yes.
One and one now to Gabari.
Simple.
Outside corner, 1-2.
All right, down and away. Actually, good pitch down and away in the strike zone. Tough pitch to hit unless the hitter knows to go the other way. All right.
Little low, 2-2.
Nice stop by Josh.
I think John wanted to give Josh a chance to catch. Christian Lent is his normal catcher when Christian is not pitching, but he wanted to put Christian in the outfield. He said Josh has been working hard in practice, and he's going to give him a shot. There's a line drive, base hit to left field for Gabari, so he leads off the game with a single for Navajo. And he's on at first with nobody out.
All right, way to get it back in there.
And that's going to bring up Josh Shea, the shortstop. Navajo is 7-5 on the year. And as we mentioned in the opening, Firefighters looking for their first win. You know, this is our first year in the interleague. We kind of had here's a foul ball straight back by Shea, 0-1 count. You know, we had to kind of put this team together, and we're kind of like the expansion team, sort of, in the interleague this year.
Yes.
They struggled a little bit at the beginning, lost their last game 2-1. They really had a chance to, with a base hit, would have taken the lead and possibly won the game. But they're playing better. They're hanging in there. Another foul ball out of play. 0-2 now to Josh Shea, the shortstop. Josh, a big kid.
They're relatively young. Firefighters is a relatively young team in terms of the major division. We only have 4 12-year-olds on this team, so the remaining 8 players on the roster will be able to come back for 1 to 2 more years, so that should hopefully form a good nucleus for the next couple of years.
That pitch low and away, gets away from Josh. So Aiden Gabari moves down to second base. He's there with nobody out. 1-2 count to Josh Shea, the shortstop. On deck is Josh Gillison, the first baseman. That pitch swung on a miss, but dropped by the catcher. So even though he has the strikeout, Shea will reach on the the pass ball. He goes to first, and Gabari goes down to third. And even though there was a strikeout, not an out recorded, so there's still nobody out. Runners at first and third for Josh Gillison. That's a new rule.
That
Little
dropped,
League incorporated a couple years ago. Drop third strike.
Correct.
Here's a ground ball up the middle.
Oh.
And the flip to second is not handled by Margaret Jennings. Robert Garcia fielded the ball nicely, but Margaret couldn't handle his flip. So Gillison's on the error. Shea moves to third, and a run scores.
I think, unfortunately, Robert rushed that throw a little bit. It just needed to be a soft toss, and I think in trying to rush it, he just held on to the ball too long and ended up going a little bit over Margaret's head. He tried to reach for the glove, but couldn't make the play.
So Navajo has a 1-0 lead. Here's Matt Torres. That ball's up the middle and a base hit to center. Fielded by Christian, who gets it in. But a run will score. Nice hard single by Matt Torres. He's at first now with nobody out. Gillison moves to second. And the batter is Nick Kelly, the second baseman. Nick, a lefty hitter, as is his father, Brian Kelly, a standout baseball player at Hendrick Hudson and Pace University. Pitch in there for a call strike to Nick, and Nick's grandfather, Pete Kelly, who's legendary Walter Panis high school baseball and basketball coach, and my driver's ed teacher in the summer of 1975. And Pete is here tonight. I saw Pete earlier. That pitch swung on and missed. Runners will move up. 0-2 now to Nick Kelly. Nobody out. Runners at second and third. 2 runs in for Navajo here in the first inning. Pitch a little low. 1-2.
All right.
This might be Josh's first game back there, so he might be a little nervous. Jordan throws hard. That pitch swung on and missed, and it dropped. Josh is going to have to throw to first, and they can't make the play, so another strikeout. Not recorded as an out. Josh couldn't handle it. He tried to flip to Jordan, who was going to throw to first.
And unfortunately, this is where you dig yourselves a big hole, especially when you had 2 outs. That could have been 2 out of 3 outs in an inning and get us closer to getting out of the jam. But now we got bases loaded with.
That pitch gets away from Josh, and the run will come home. So Josh struggling a little bit behind the plate. Runners all move up. Torres goes to third. Nick Kelly moves to second. Still nobody out for Nick Fonseca, who is the catcher for Navajo.
And Jordan's got to try to keep his cool. A lot of this is not his fault, so he's just going to have to bear down and keep plugging away. That's a good pitch.
On the outside corner. That pitch swung on, or check swing. John called it a strike. 1 ball, 2 strikes now to Nick Fonseca. Have 1 foul back. Stays alive at 1-2. Nick is one of several players on the Navajo team who played in the Cortlandt Youth Football League, which I have coached in for the last 14 years or so. And I actually coached his brother Ryan with the Little Giants years ago. Nick was a member of the 49ers. That
Nice
pitch swung
pitch.
on and missed. So Jordan gets the strikeout for the first out.
Looked like a little bit of a changeup.
Yep.
Just took a little off it, just enough to get him out in front.
So Jordan has struck out 3, but only has 1 out to show for it. And that's going to bring up Kyle Perez, another CYFL football player. Plays with the Colts. Kyle playing first base tonight. First pitch in there for a strike. Runners at second and third. 3 runs in here in the top of the first for Navajo. 1 out.
I like how Jordan's maintaining his composure, keeping his pitches down. He's been pitching well. Again, it's not really his fault. Unfortunately, a little bit of some snafus, and you know, again, those couple drop third strikes really are hurting.
Killer. 0-2 now to Kyle Perez.
There you
That pitch
go.
swung on and missed. Ball not handled. The throw to first.
Oh, and
And thrown into right field. So Josh really having a hard time back there. Another strikeout for Jordan, but he still only has 1 out in the inning. Nick Kelly goes all the way to third. Another run scores. 4 in so far in the inning. Jordan has 4 strikeouts.
Yep.
And only 1 out to show for it. Here's Max Iodice now, the left fielder. That pitch swung on and missed.
Again, another good pitch by Jordan.
Jordan throwing well. That one gets away from Josh. No go by Nick,
right.
third.
Jordan backing up the plate as he should as a pitcher. When the ball gets behind the catcher, that's his responsibility to be there in the event of a play.
1-1 to Max. 1 out, runners at second and third. That pitch in the dirt. No shot for Josh there. Comes right back to him. Jordan covers the plate, but no go from Nick Kelly at third base. Second and third, 1 out. Navajo leads 4-0 here in the top of the first. Fouled back. 1-2. A rough start for the Firefighters. A lot of game left.
Absolutely, a lot of game left. Kids got to keep their composure. Nice
Call,
pitch.
strike
Nice
3.
pitch. Up.
Throw to first. Now they get the out
All
that
right,
time.
you got the out that time. Good. Nice play by a line to come off the bag to get the ball, and then step on the bag.
5 strikeouts for Jordan in the inning. There's 2 outs and three runners reaching.
It's tough.
But give Jordan some credit. He's throwing well.
Yep.
He's hanging in there.
I tell
Here's
you,
Colin Kennedy now, the right fielder. 2 out, runners at second and third, 4 runs in. That
All
pitch in the dirt, Nick holds. The distance between home plate and that fence is not far,
no, it's not.
and the ball can kick back quickly. So with a 4-0 lead in the first, Coach Bob, who is coaching third base, playing it safe. That pitch swung on and missed.
1 ball, 1 strike.
1-1 to Colin Kennedy. Chris Parks on deck. Outside. 2-1. We're in the top of the first. 4-0 Navajo, Peekskill Lapolla Little League Baseball. I'm Joe DeChristopher along with Chris Hanslick at Tompkins Park here in Peekskill. That pitch swung on and missed.
Another good pitch down in the zone by Jordan.
2-2. And swung on a miss. Ball dropped by Josh. Throws to first.
There we
and
go.
Al gets the out.
Okay.
So they got that part of it down. They're starting to work that part of it out. But Navajo does score 4 runs, and Jordan struck out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 batters in the inning. So this is interleague play, Chris, and this was something that you really took a hold of, you and some of the other presidents from the Cortlandt National, Cortlandt American, Putnam Valley, Croton, Ossining, Briarcliff have all got involved in it.
Yep.
And so far, so good, right?
Yeah, well, it's certainly been a godsend for us. I mean, I can't take all the credit. Actually, the idea was floated to us by our former board member and good friend Earl Berry last year, as a matter of fact. We were able to set up interleague with Croton Little League, and actually we thought that was quite successful with our major teams and their major teams as well. We had 12 interleague games on the schedule last year, played over 6 consecutive Saturdays, and the idea was such a good one, and as we explored the idea now with all the other leagues in our what we call District 33, and as it turned out, we ended up having 5 other leagues that were interested in doing interleague play amongst us today. So it's good because it shows our kids too, you know, the type of competition that they're going to be facing, and you know, I've always been a proponent of you play up and you play to, you know, better yourselves by playing better competition. So hopefully this will be something that will keep going.
Okay, Aiden Repollet will lead it off for the Firefighters against Aiden Gabari of Navajo. And the first pitch is swung on a miss. 0-1 to Aiden, playing left field tonight. Foul tip caught by Nick. 0-2 to Aiden Repollet. Pitch a little high and away. And I know as when the season began, some of the in-house rules, we do things a little different than some of the other leagues, and at least the games that I've been kind of umping the minor B games, pitch low and away, 2-2. You know, you kind of explain how you do things, and the coaches are all in for it. They're very receptive to what we want to do, and I think we've done the same thing when we go into their fields. Just a few changes, you know, just a few differences. That pitch swung on a miss by Aiden, so 1 out now.
Yeah, I mean, there've been some growing pains, and that's always going to happen when you do something like this for the very first time with, you know, with leagues you haven't played against in a regular season before. So, but I do think that everybody's been all on the same page in terms of just working out the kinks, and it's only going to get better as we keep working things out.
Yeah, I agree. A work in progress, pretty much. And I know our rule in the minor B, where we have the pitching machine and we limit the batter to 6 strikes, Cortlandt American has more or less adopted that rule. They didn't really do that. They had umpire calling balls and strikes, and they like the 6-pitch limit better. So I know I spoke to Coach Todd from one of the teams over there, and he said he's going to bring it to their board. And when another team came last week, they said, no, we're doing that now. We're using your rule of 6-pitch limit with the pitching machine. So,
right.
You know, it's a work in progress. And, you know, Robert fouls one off. This is Robert Garcia, the shortstop for the Firefighters. 2-1 count to him. And I think this winter, when we sit down and evaluate how things went and what we want to do for next year, all those things will kind of become a little more concrete and pull together a little better.
Absolutely, absolutely.
3-1 to Robert. Robert is a left-handed hitter, right-handed thrower, playing shortstop, and has a really nice swing, a good stick. He's going to be one of our future stars. That one fouled straight down. Got a piece of John, I believe. 3-2 now to Robert Garcia.
Robert is an 11-year-old, so he'll be back with us for 1 more year. And like I said, we only have 4 12-year-olds on this Firefighters team, so there's, you know, we got a good nucleus for the next year.
There's a fly ball to center field. Torres over and makes the play. Nice play by Matt Torres. Robert got a good piece. Nice contact. Torres looks like a fast kid, so he's patrolling center field.
As a matter of fact, Matt Torres used to play with us last year.
You know, when he was here warming up, I thought he looked familiar, and the name sounded familiar.
Yeah, as it turned out, he moved down to the southern part of Peekskill, which is in the Head Hud district, which is also where Cortlandt National can draw from. It's one of those overlap areas, you know, right, that we have between, you know, Peekskill and the southern, you know, and Cortlandt to the south.
Lower Washington Street, Blealock Avenue, that area.
Yep,
right?
Exactly. So
here's Christian Lent now playing center field for Firefighters. That pitch swung on a miss. 0-2. And it's hard. A kid can maybe be in our boundary, but go to school, you know, with his friends and wants to play with the kids that he goes to school with and knows.
Right.
And Matt knows kids from both sides because he lived here. Here's a ground ball to second base. Nick Kelly bobbles, throws, and not in time. So Christian beats it out.
Yeah, way to run it down. That's the way to hustle it.
Good hustle by Christian. Nick Kelly with a little bobble through to Kyle Perez. Not in time. Good hustle by Christian.
That's why you run the play out no matter what. You just never know what's going to happen.
And you see the orange base there, the safety base, which is pretty regular now in all of Little League. The orange base is for the runner, the white base is for the first baseman, so there's less chance of a collision. Here's Jordan Lent now. Boogs batting cleanup. And Boogs is, as we mentioned him when he was pitching, big, strong kid, 12-year-old. Has a home run this year, I believe.
He hit it the very first game of the season.
First game of the year. So you put one up there for Jordan. That pitch on the outside corner, 0-2.
Jordan didn't like that one, but Got to be careful. Can't argue balls and strikes in Little League.
Hideaway 1-2 now to Jordan. Aiden Gabari on the mound for Navajo. They lead the Firefighters 4-0. This is a interleague game between Peekskill Lapolla Little League's Firefighters and Cortlandt National Little League's Navajo team. And he went for the high one, swung and missed. A little too high for Jordan. So that retires the side for Peekskill. They leave one, and at the end of one inning, it's Navajo 4 and Peekskill 0. Chris, you mentioned that Danes Lumber is playing the minor B game down below. Coach Dave Ojeda doing a great job. Him and his father-in-law, I believe, Chris, doing a great job with the with Danes Lumber. But Danes Lumber was our opening day honoree this year.
Yes, they were.
The last few years, we've taken a sponsor who has sponsored in our league for 20 years or more, and this year Danes was our honoree.
That's correct.
Coach Egan has made a change. He's put Christian behind the plate and Josh out in center field, so giving Jordan a little better chance, you know, with those strikeouts of retiring the batter.
I think it was a good move. I mean, you know, you know, Josh might have been a little nervous. You know, I'm sure the kids may have it in their heads that even though they're trying not to, it's a baseball. You know, they're being on TV and can't help but be a little nervous. I'm sure.
Jordan's a solid catcher, and that's his cousin, Christian. Christian, the catcher. Jordan, his cousin, on the mound. Leading it off for Navajo is Chris Parks, the third baseman, and Chris. First pitch is inside. Chris was one of my players on the Little Giants in the Cortlandt Youth Football League the last 2 years, and an excellent athlete. Was a tight end, has tremendous hands. I know you can say that about a lot of kids, but Chris really is going to be a good pass catcher as he grows in his football career. He's a good athlete, is fast, and has a lot of fun playing football. I've never seen him play baseball, but here he is with Navajo, playing third base and leading off the second inning here. That pitch swung on him. It's good cut by Chris. That pitch on the outside corner.
Nice way for Jordan to come back down 2-0 and throw him 2 consecutive strikes, so he's back even.
2-2.
Nice
that pitch swung on a miss. So Jordan with his 7th strikeout.
And that was a nice way to come back. Again, down 2-0 to the batter through 3 consecutive strikes to retire him. That's the way to come back.
And here is Luke Selnikovich. I got to take my time. Luke Selnikovich, the left fielder.
That's what you call a $10 last name.
We're going to call him Luke. Luke bounces one foul behind first base up against the dugout fence, 0-1. So Jordan really working well. He's on top of every batter.
Yep. I mean, I think that was the first batter that he actually got behind on, but he came right back after being down 2-0. And again, really do like the way he's locating his pitches.
There's a ground ball to second base.
Oh.
Margaret and Jordan.
That was a
tough play.
Yeah, that was just one of those in between, had a little bit of English on it, like it looked like it came off the end of the bat. Just was kind of spinning away from Jordan as he was trying to go get it. So.
Once it got past Jordan, it was going to be a hard play for Margaret to make, and Jordan tried to even run the ball down. But once it got past him, Luke was going to be in with a single. So he's there with 1 out at first. Here's Aiden Gabari, who singled his first time up, scored a run in the first inning. Fouls the first pitch back, 0-1. One and one now to Aiden Gabari. Four 0 Navajo lead. Here's a fly ball to right center field. Josh under it, makes the catch. Luke goes halfway and holds.
Nice play by Josh Leal out in center field there. Got under the ball, saw it right into the glove, and got it right back into second base to keep the runner at first.
2 out for Josh Shea. Josh struck out his first time, but reached on the drop third strike. First pitch a little low, gets under Christian, got the helmet off right away. No go by Luke. He holds it first. 2 out now, runner at first for Navajo. Problem with all those strikeouts and pass balls, and there's a hot shot to center field. One
To the
hop
fence,
against the fence
and it's
over. So that'll be a ground rule double for Josh Shea. He hit that ball hard.
Certainly did. It was probably right up against the warning track out there and literally climbed the fence and went over.
One hop against the fence crown and then popped over. So a double for Josh Shea and a hard hit ball. Second and third now with 2 out for Josh Gillison, the first baseman.
All right, Jordan's got to bear down now.
Pitch outside.
He's been getting the pitches when he needs to, so he just has to keep.
Swung on a miss, 1-1. Swung on a miss, 1-2.
Well, Jordan has a chance to get out of the inning with no damage. It's ahead 1-2.
Fouls back. Just got a piece.
Just got a piece. Again, another good pitch from Jordan. He's staying tough, hanging tough, pitching well. See if we can get out of this inning.
Here's a line drive to left field. Fair ball into the corner. 2 runs will score. Gillison will stop at second with a double. Nicely stroked opposite field double by Josh Gillison to drive in 2. And that makes the score 6-0 now. So Jordan had a chance to get out of the inning, but nice hitting by Gillison to drive in 2.
That pitch might have been a little bit too up in the zone. It was away, but being up in the zone, he knew how to take it the other way.
And Gillison did a nice job of going to the opposite field. Here's a ground ball by Torres up the middle, base hit. Josh Fields throws in. Gillison will score, so it's 7-0 now. So Navajo putting a few hits together to score 3 after 2 were out in the inning too. Tough inning for Jordan.
That's most frustrating for a pitcher when you get those first couple outs real easy and then you have those runs score like that.
Here's Nick Kelly now. Nick struck out but reached on the drop third strike. Scored a run in the first. That pitch swung on a miss. Runner goes. And Torres steals second base. So you can steal in Little League. You have to wait for the ball to reach the batter.
That's right. There's no leads in Little League. You cannot lead off the base. You have to stay on the base until the ball passes home plate and is caught.
That ball fouled straight back. So 1-2 to Nick Kelly. I see Nick's father Brian is here also on the third base bench with Nick's grandfather Pete.
Pardon my getting over a little bit of a cold over the last week here, so I'm going to try to restrain myself from coughing too much.
Hit that cough button. You got a cough button there? I don't know if you have. 2-2 now to Nick Kelly. That pitch high gets away from Jordan. Torres will make it to third. So 2 outs. Jordan has thrown a lot of pitches in these 2 innings. There is a pitch count. That pitch outside.
Yeah, Little League has had a pitch count rule for probably about 5 or 6 years now. So, which is, as being a former pitcher, I definitely have been in strong support of it over the years, and you know, it's done to protect the players from overuse. So.
I know in our day when we were coaching, we had no pitch count, thank God. We had the innings limit.
Yeah, the innings limit, right.
And seriously, it was easier. You know, these coaches now, it's tough.
And actually, nowadays, your coaches and managers actually coach to the pitch rule.
Yeah.
You know, they try to make sure they've got enough arms on their teams, especially in tournament time. You'll find that, as it turns out, part of the pitch count rule is if you pitch 21 or less pitches, they can come back the next day with no rest. So, especially in tournament time when you have games every 1 or 2 days, and they stack their teams with arms, they try to make sure they get, they can get 2, 3, 4 pitches in there, and if they stay below the 20 pitch limit, they can come back the next day.
It's part of the strategy you have to use as a manager. Here's Nick Fonseca now. He's up with runners at first and third. Nick Kelly walked. Fonseca struck out his first time up. That pitch swung on a miss. Kelly goes to second. He'll go unattested. That first and third situation, always a tough situation. If you throw through, the runner from third can score. And that pitch swung on a miss. Dropped by Christian. He fields, makes the throw to Al in time. So they get the out.
That was a tough inning, unfortunately. I mean, the first inning was a little bit more about unearned runs and having dropped third strikes and some miscues, but the second inning was more about you know, they get those first 2 outs and they just couldn't put them away, and they had some timely hitting in the second inning.
And 3 runs scored with 2 outs, which gives Navajo a 7-0 lead as we move to the bottom of the second inning. We want to mention our sponsors. You know, of course, without our sponsors, their support financially, and you know, the league wouldn't exist.
Yeah, they are a major financial contributor to the league. Their assistant,
Buddy Frank Pugliese and Pugliese Contracting. And our T-ball sponsors are the Elks Lodge, who are back after a little respite for a while. The Elks Lodge people who you know a little bit wanted to get back involved, and they're sponsoring a T-ball team. The Kenneth Pregno Agency, the title search people down in town that my sister Kathy's been involved with for many, many years, and she got them involved in sponsoring. And they're another one. Is going on almost 20 years of sponsorship. Resco and their manager, Heather Shurag, George Travis, the manager of Pregno, Serena Warren, the manager of the Elks Lodge, 2 of our board members. Heather coaches the Resco team, and our last year's honorees opening day were the Road Knights and their managers, Kiz Fleming. And the Road Knights were, again, 20-plus years of sponsorship. So we thank all our sponsors of the Peekskill Lapolla Little League, and as we always say, we hope that you support them as they support us. So again, thanks to all our sponsors. We're going to move now to the bottom of the second inning.
you got to try to see if the Firefighters can help, you know, get themselves back into this game. You know, a couple runs here, a couple runs there. If they can hold the fort down, you know, maybe we can make a game out of this. There's still plenty of ball left, so, you know, don't want to count them out just yet.
Aiden Grabari on the mound for Navajo, and leading it off will be Al Mirain, the first baseman, Alon.
I think it's pronounced Align.
Align. I always call him Al. But Al's come a long way. He's doing a really nice job at first base. I spoke to John Egan before the game. He says, I found my first baseman. Al, left-handed, good spot for a left-handed player. Does a nice job over to first. He's got a habit of stepping off the bag quickly after he catches the throw. I was umpiring a game here a couple of weeks ago where I think I called the kid out. Al might have stepped off the plate, off the base a little too soon. And we called the player out, but John's been working with him on that, and he's doing a really nice job.
Yeah. The hardest thing we have to do with our players sometimes is that they always want to emulate their big league counterparts, and you know, the big league players that they you know, that they're fans of, and sometimes the big league players don't have the best of habits in terms of what they teach kids in terms of the basics. So that's easier said than done sometimes.
Right. 3-1 now to Al. Aiden Grabari on the mound for Navajo. They lead 7-0 here in the bottom of the second inning. That pitch on the outside corner, 3-2.
Like a little bit of a changeup or some sort of a breaking pitch there.
Maybe a little spinner by Aiden. 3-2 now to Al. And that pitch is high. So Al will reach on the walk. Firefighters first base runner. He's at first with nobody out. And you notice Al's the talker on the team. You know, every team, every year, you have a talker, someone who is always chatting, always jawing, which is good. He's always talking ball. He's talking to people in the stands, people on the bench, talks to the umpire. He's having a good time.
Absolutely. Everything that comes out of it is positive. He seems to always be uplifting to his teammates, which is, you know, that's what it's all about with Little League. You want to try to, you know, enforce the principles of teamwork and working with each other. Try to be positive, even though it's sometimes tough, especially when you're down like they are right now, 7-0.
Jaime Lopez, the batter now, playing right field tonight. 1-1 count to him. That pitch inside, and Al's going to get down to second base. Nick is going to hold the throw. So Alon there with nobody out, runner at second for Jaime. Pitch fouled back a little high, but Jaime being aggressive. You like the kids to be aggressive. I know. We always thought I'd rather see you swing and miss a strike three than take strike three down the middle. Learn how to swing, be aggressive, and learn the strike zone as you get older. So I never discourage. I know we never discourage kids from swinging at the strike. Here's a pop up behind second. Nick Kelly with a nice play. Throw to second. In time and doubles off Al. Nice play by Nick Kelly to double off Al at second base.
Unfortunately, he was a little lackadaisical out there. Probably, maybe for whatever reason, thought the ball was going to be dropped. But as soon as he saw that ball caught, he should have rushed back to second.
Nick looked like he got a late jump on it. I didn't think he was going to get it at first, but he was able to run it down, made a nice over the shoulder, and a good throw to Shea at second base for the double play. So that eliminates the base runner.
A little bit of a delay might have even been a decoy to Al.
Here's Josh Leal now. Josh now playing center field. 0-1. Swung on and missed. Josh chased a high one there, I think. 0-2. Inside. I think that was a little spinner.
Yep.
Yeah, Josh bailing. It might have broke a little late. John almost ready to put the right hand up, but he held back. 1-2 now to Josh Leal. And he chases another high one, strike three. So Josh being aggressive, maybe a little too aggressive that time. And he strikes out for the third out of the inning. So at the end of 2, score remains Navajo 7 and the Firefighters 0. I want to take a minute and talk about our umpire, John Pagan. John umpiring tonight, does high school games, has done some college games, has volunteered many, many years as an umpire here for us at Peekskill Lapolla Little League. And for the first time this year, we are paying our umpires. We were the lone holdouts in Little League Baseball, but we always felt that, you know, Little League originally was a volunteer organization, and we had many, many umpires who were paid umpires who would come and volunteer for us throughout the season, and we were very grateful for that. But once the interleague started, I think we felt like we wanted to start paying our umpires, and really this year we're able to pay some guys who worked for free for us for many, many years, John being one of them. And also, as you know, his time as on our board as the information officer and player agent did a tremendous job. It was a lot of work, which you kind of took over this winter for John, as John resigned from the board last fall.
I, for one, I don't know if I've ever let John know this personally, but I miss him terribly. So, but he was invaluable for us for a long, long time. And he served basically 2 positions that would normally be held by 2 different people. As the player agent being responsible for all the league, the player registrations, assigning players to teams, all the information, all the necessary work, legwork and paperwork associated with that, uploading the rosters to Williamsport, which is part of the responsibility every year of Little Leagues, and then the league information officer, handling things like getting information out to the schools. He was always responsible for getting our big flyer out to all of our elementary schools for getting kids to sign up and so on. So he had tremendous responsibility, and we're eternally thankful for what he's done for us.
Kyle Perez now leading off the top of the third for Navajo against Jordan Lent in his 3rd inning of work. Kyle struck out his first time up. Yeah, John did a tremendous amount of work, especially the preparation to start the season. How much was in, and then he would come and umpire, and was a tremendous asset to our league.
And I think we always knew that, but certainly as me taking on the responsibility of being player agent, I don't do both. Thankfully, we have our colleague Dave Lapolla, who's kind of taken on the league information officer responsibilities, but I've really come to obviously firsthand appreciate the work that John did.
So Jordan struck out Kyle for the first out of the inning, and he's 1-1 now to Max Iodice, who he struck out in the 1st inning. I think Jordan's working on 9 strikeouts already here in the 3rd. That one popped foul and out of play.
That was a good pitch, down inside and on the hands, and again down in the zone. Jordan got a little hurt by some pitches up in the zone last time. That's how they were able to get some hits and runs at 2 outs.
There's a ground ball to short. Robert not able to handle it, gets through to left field for a base hit. So Max has a base hit. He's there with 1 out, just out of the reach of Robert, kind of dove to his right in the hole. Not able to come up with it. So Max has a hit. He's at first base with 1 out here in the top of the 3rd, and Colin Kennedy, the batter now. Colin struck out his first time up. Navajo leads 7-0. Robert checking out his glove. That's always happens, right? When you dive and you don't get it, you always look at the glove. So what happened? What's wrong with my glove? hole in my glove.
Swing and miss, you blame the bat.
Yeah. Here's a foul ball. Off the bat of Kennedy. On deck is Chris Parks. 7-0 Navajo leads here. Top of the third. Overcast, no sun, which is good for the center fielder because normally you're blinded. That pitch swung on and missed.
Another good pitch down in the zone.
Jordan throwing really, really nice. He really is giving up a few hard hits. That one foul just got a piece.
That was a defensive swing right there. Another good pitch down in the zone by Jordan.
Good job by Kennedy to waste a good pitch.
Absolutely.
That's an art. That one swung on and missed. The runner goes, no throw down. So Kennedy out on strikes for the second out. And now Chris Parks, who struck out his first time up. Ten strikeouts for Jordan so far in the third inning. Outside corner, 0-2 now to Chris Parks. Inside, 1-2.
All right, good backup pitch. Back him off the plate a little bit. Maybe he goes back outside and catches him on the outside corner now. That's exactly what he did.
Good job by Jordan for his 11th strikeout. So, no runs that inning for Navajo. Good job by Jordan. Gives up the one hit. Strikes out 3 more for 11 total through 3 innings. And at the middle of the third inning rather, it's Navajo 7 and the Firefighters 0. So we talked about John.
Excuse me.
Former member of our board of directors, but why don't you give a little mention to the rest of the board?
Well, we have an 11-member board. I myself I'm the president of the board. I can't believe this. It's actually, I believe, my 10th year as president. Not trying to go for any record here, but just I guess I haven't found somebody yet that's been willing to take my place. But
that might be a record.
But George Travis is our vice president. Bill Zaboris, a longtime board member, also a former manager of a few of our major teams over the years, is our treasurer. We have Serena Warren as one of our board members. We have Nelson Alcantara, who is one of our minor A managers, as one of our board members. Dave Lapolla, who is the grandson of Catherine Lapolla, he's our league information officer, as we said earlier. We have 2 new lady board members. Jahara Zagarel is come on board, as well as Amanda Rosalind. As I said in the beginning of the year, they've made immediate contributions to us here with the Polo Little League. And we have Danny Lent, who is essentially our de facto concession stand manager. He came back this year and has done a tremendous job with our concession stand, running it and making sure it stays stocked and clean and provide drinks and different types of snacks and food for players and parents alike. And we have Rich Sullivan, who's also on the Peekskill City School District Board. He's one of our coaches in the minor B division, I think rounds out our board. So we have a good, well-rounded board. Our board is all volunteer. All of what we do here, as Dixie said earlier, with the exception of the umpires, which used to be volunteer. Although in our lower divisions we still use volunteer umpires, but all of our adults are volunteers. We don't, under Little League rules, we don't get paid. It's nothing about getting paid here. It's about doing it for the kids and being able to provide a youth baseball program for the kids of Peekskill. So, a lot of us have been around. Dixie and I guess, are kind of the senior members of the board now. We've been around for a long, long time. We both have coached our kids. Our kids are long gone now. I mean, my son is now 20 years old. Your son is 21. 22. So, we've kind of anchored this board, and we're filling in with new blood, which is a good thing.
Okay, we move to the bottom of the third. Sulev Lor is leading it off for the Firefighters, and on the mound now for Navajo is Chris Parks, who made the last out last inning. We had a few defensive changes. 1-1 now for Navajo. It looks like Josh Shea has gone to catch from shortstop. Nick Kelly is out of the game at second, and Aiden Gabari, who was pitching, has moved to second. Here's a line drive into
Base hit.
right field, a base hit. They're going to try a shot at first. Got him. Nice play by the right fielder, Colin Kennedy, to get Sulev at first base. So
yeah, it was one of those plays where the right fielder actually had him played perfectly. It was hit just hard enough for him to make the play and be able to still throw him out. And it was a good heads-up play by the right fielder.
Sulev hit it too hard. He got it just beyond the reach of Kyle at first base, and I believe that's Colin Kennedy in right field. It might be another player. They did make some defensive changes, but either way, nice play by the right fielder throwing the first to get the out, and Sulev for the first out of the bottom of the third. Here's Margaret Jennings now playing second base. Pitch outside. Chris has a little bit of a sidearm pitch. He's got a strong arm. I've seen him throw a football many, many times at practice, and he does have a strong arm.
Yeah, it's a pretty simple windup too. And again, at this level, kids should have simple windups. Shouldn't have, you know, big windy, flaily lineup. It throws off their balance, and you know, it's not good for their arms.
That pitch in there for a strike. The simpler the better, I think, at that age. If you watch Bartolo Colon pitch last night, it's all he does. He drops his foot back one step, picks his hands up, knee up, points and throws. It's very, very simple.
And if you notice, a lot of the major league pitchers, especially the relievers nowadays, a lot of them are going from the stretch in order to keep that delivery simple.
Yep. Nice and compact. Good bounce, as you said. Chris has 2 strikes on Margaret now. 1 out. A little high, and Margaret has a walk.
Big Margaret ducked under that one. got the walk by ducking under a little bit. See a little bit of a smile on her face as she goes down to first.
All right, she's at first with 1 out now, and Will Kingston, the batter.
Will is one of our 2 10-year-olds on Firefighters. You know, this year we had a lot of our 10-year-olds play down for 1 year, just to, you know, kind of hone their skills a little bit more before coming back up to the majors. So.
First pitch to Will is high. Will actually played in the majors last year as a 9-year-old. We had a few years there when we had 3 major league teams where we had to bring up some 9-year-olds just to fill out the rosters, and that's why we went to the interleague thing and tried to form one team with mostly 11 and 12s and some 10s, so we wouldn't have to do that.
Right, and then we also split up our minor division too, where we had last couple of years we had our combined minor division.
That pitch in there for a call. 2-1 now to Will.
And we ended up splitting up our minor division back into what we used to have for many years, minor A and minor B.
Right, which has worked out better too, I think.
Yes, it has.
Pitch on the outside corner, 2-2. So Chris doing a nice job. Will holds his own though. He's a little guy, and you know, he's a good defensive player. He'll probably come out, play second base as we come out for the 4th inning and Coach Egan makes his changes. Just down, just a little low. Josh Shea kind of catching that one to the ground, not helping John Pagan with the frame at all. On the outside corner, strike 3. Nice pitch by Chris Parks to get the 2nd out here in the 3rd.
Yeah, a little bit of heat on that one. You heard the pop of the glove from our little table set up down the right field line behind first base.
Here's Ramel Escobar now. 2 out, bottom of the 3rd, 7-0 Navajo leading the Firefighters. Rough first inning for Jordan. A little better 2nd inning and a real good 3rd inning. 0-1 now to Ramel. Call strike 2.
Looks like Chris has settled into a groove now.
Yeah, definitely, throwing nicely. Just missed, 1-2. Pitch high. Margaret will get down to second base. No throw by Josh Shea. So Margaret's down there at second.
Yeah, Chris dropped his arm a little bit on that delivery. That's what caused the ball to sail over the catcher's head.
And on the outside corner, call strike 3. So nice job by Chris Parks. Gives up the 1 walk, but no runs. Strikes out 2 here in the bottom of the 3rd. So at the end of 3 innings, it's Navajo 7, Firefighters 0. And we'll see if Jordan comes back out. His pitch count's got to be getting up there a little bit.
Yeah, as a 12-year-old, he's allowed a maximum of 85 pitches under the pitch count rules for Little League Baseball.
You get a look at Coach Egan there making his changes, and John back for a second stint. John coached with us way back in the, actually John coached, man, back into the late 80s and early 90s, and with our boys, you know, up into the mid 90s.
And even into the mid 2000s as well.
Right, exactly. I meant that's really what I meant, into the 2000s. And then when his son Brian graduated, John and I coached some summer ball and fall ball on the bigger field. And really, you know, we both stopped coaching those kids about 5 years ago, and John retired from UPS and ran into George, I guess, over the winter, and George put a little bug in his ear, and he was ready.
He absolutely did. As a matter of fact, John actually came to visit us during one of our winter registration days back over at Hillcrest Elementary School back in February, I think it was, and we were just talking about things, the state of the league, what we were planning to do, and I guess it really appealed to John, and George Travis, our vice president, does have a way of kind of putting the bug in someone's ear and about, you know, has that knack of recruiting coaches when they don't think they're going to coach. So
I think he puts them on the teams before they know it. I think that's his.
Yeah,
his
well,
knack.
I think he follows what was followed by a lot of former board members and coaches back in the day. I seem
like
to remember.
Wendy Smythe,
Yeah, I seem to remember that one of our former presidents, Dieter Dahl.
Oh yeah.
Actually used the same formula on me to help to get me to join the board. So.
Dieter, I know John will tell you the story, John Pagan, that John was coaching his son Robbie in minor B, and Dieter was there running the practice, and Dieter conveniently had to leave for something and said, "You guys are the coaches now," and that's how they became coaches. So it was all good.
As they call it, trial by fire.
Trial by fire. But John really is very enthusiastic, always has been, teaches the fundamentals. He's hanging in there with this group, never gets discouraged, never lets them get discouraged.
Yeah, I kind of feel like he's been the glue that's held this team together. I mean, you know, again, you got a lot of good, young players here. You know, they just need to continue to play more together, and you know, I feel confident about these guys going forward.
That pitch high now to Luke Selmakovic.
Getting better with it all the time,
I'm not even sure if it's correct. That's what we're going with. And Luke had a base hit his first time up, so I think that was Luke who made that play in right field, throwing out Sulev. 2 strikes, 3-2 to Luke.
Huh?
Ground ball foul.
All right.
No play.
Again, a good pitch inside by Jordan. Fought it off.
Three and 2 count to Nick, or Luke rather. Aiden Gabari on deck. And in there for a call, strike 3. Christian Bobbles throws to Al in time.
Nice play all around. Nice pitch again by Jordan to come back from being down.
12 strikeouts now for Jordan.
I think he was down 3-1 on Luke, and he came back and struck him out.
Here's Aiden Gabari now. Aiden is 1 for 2, singled and scored, and then flew out in the second inning to center field. We're in the top of the 4th, 7-0 Navajo leads. Rain is held off. It's a little dark. Here's a ground ball up the middle, base hit for Aiden. A nice piece of hitting. Took it right up the middle, and he'll hold it first with a single, 1-out single.
Yeah, when you're hitting that ball up the middle like that, your timing is about as spot on as it can be.
A lot of room up the middle.
Yep.
Here you see Al talking. Al's talking to Aiden. Al talks to everybody.
Yep.
Pitch swung on a miss.
Trying to make a play.
And the throw not in time.
All right, nice play by Bill coming up to catch the ball. Not waiting for the ball to come to him. He moved up on it. He knew this throw was going to be a little short and kept it from going into center field.
1 strike to Josh Shea. Josh had a hard hit double his last time up. Goes for a high pitch. Foul ball. He was hacking away at that one. Had a ground rule double actually his last time up. One hopped the fence and skipped over.
Yeah. Yeah.
A little low.
Yeah, that's where Jordan's got it. That's where Jordan's been effective most of the game. He's keeping down in the zone.
That one fouled and out of play.
Nice
play
pitch.
For Christian.
Nice pitch. Got it on the inside part of the plate.
Not much Josh could do with that.
Yeah, Josh is a big kid. You want to tie these big guys up inside.
Pitch swung on and missed. Christian will make the play.
Nice
Again,
play.
They make the play.
All right.
Runner does advance to third, but 13 strikeouts now.
Again, that ball was on the inside part of the plate. Tied him up. Didn't allow Josh to get his hands out extended, his arms extended. And, you know.
Here's Josh Gillison now. Josh is 2 for 2.
Well, it looks like Jordan has reached his pitch count.
He probably has. Great job by Jordan. 13 strikeouts. He's going to switch with Al now.
Yeah, Jordan did pitch very, very well. I think he just got snake bit, unfortunately. A little bit of, problems in that first inning with the drop third strikes and some plays that could have been made and gotten him out of the inning a lot earlier than he did, unfortunately.
So Al's going to come in and relieve Jordan. 13 strikeouts in less than 3 2/3 inning for Jordan. I think every out except one fly ball to center field was a strikeout.
I think he had twice as many strikeouts as there were outs in that first inning.
He did. So excellent job by Jordan, and he's holding it together. Jordan has come a long way maturity-wise too. Has tried to become more of a leader of this younger team and has done a nice job with it. So yeah, he's hanging in there.
That's the toughest part with that we as coaches or former coaches and managers have is that the kids they want to play, they want to win, and it's tough to control their emotions because they are emotional at this age and it's hard to teach them to stay focused and just realize that it's they can come back the next time and get that hit that they didn't get the last inning or make that play that they didn't make and they just gotta that's all part of the learning process of Little League Baseball. It's all about learning the mental part of the game as well as the skills part of the game. So
Jordan's uncle Jay is John's coach, Jay Lent, and Jay had been a manager here in the past, was a coach here in the past when his older son Jamie was playing. His older son Dylan just graduated out of the league a couple years ago. His son Christian is playing. His son Jeremy is in the minors. Jordan is his nephew. So Jay does a real nice job. He knows the kids, and these kids, the Lent kids, Gordonier kids, their cousins, that grew up from their neighborhood. They are here all the time, whether they have a game or not.
Absolutely.
And if there's an open field, they grab a ball, they grab a bat, and they play ball.
It's kind of the way it used to be. It used to be like that with, with kids. That's the one part of things nowadays with so many other things distracting kids. It's, just to have kids come up and play pickup ball like it used to be when we were growing up.
This is what they like to do. That pitch was a wild pitch by Allen. Barry scored from third, so it's 8-0 now. There are 2 outs. Josh Gillison is the batter. See Al telling Christian where to put the glove. That one pop foul and out of play.
Don't want to telegraph it too much to the batter there.
Al can't help it. Al's talking. Al's talking no matter what.
Excuse me.
8-0 here in the top of the 4th. Ground ball to second.
Ooh.
Pass Will. Took a little bad hop.
A little bit of a bad hop there.
And Josh will hold. We'll give him a base hit on that. A bad hop base hit. Will had gotten there, and a little bit of lip on that infield there too. Took a little hop up on Will. So Gillison is on with 2 out. 8-0 here in the top of the 4th. Matt Torres, 2 for 2 so far. 2 hard hit singles. Pitch dead. Hit him in the foot.
Yeah, called it a hit by pitch even though it hit the ground first.
Yep. I asked Earl that one time. I said, what happens if the ball hits the dirt, then it hits the batter? You know what his answer was? If it hits you, it hits you.
And
Doesn't matter how, where, when.
simple, straightforward, Earl Berry type answer.
Hits the batter, gets the base. Here's Nick Kelly now with runners at first and second. A little inside, 1-0. Nick is struck out and walked. Made a nice play at second base earlier, over the head catch, double off base runner. That pitch swung on and missed.
Actually, a pretty good pitch there by Alon. By Al, as we say.
Now, Alon.
Ball's down. One thing the pitchers need to understand more than anything else is it's as much about location as it is about speed.
0-2 to Nick. Nick was another CYFL football player, played for the 49ers. A bunch of kids on the Navajo. That pitch swung on him. It's in the dirt. Christian's going to have no play.
No, it shouldn't be a play because first base was occupied.
First base was occupied.
Up.
Good call by John.
Good call by John.
That's correct. That's correct.
Whoop.
Whoop, now the throw comes.
Right by us here
Doesn't
at the
matter.
desk.
And you heard John explain, and that's the rule. He could have run, and they would have had to make the play. But for some reason, he thought with first base occupied that he couldn't run. But with 2 outs, no matter how many men are on base or where the men are on base, the ball is still live and everybody can move.
Well,
so
that's why John's the umpire and we're not.
yeah, exactly. But after that, Nick had walked to the dugout, so he couldn't turn around and
Yeah,
run
actually,
back
that is the rule. Once you walk out of the field of play, you have to be called out on that one.
All right, so we'll move to the bottom of the 4th. They did get 1 run, 8-0. Navajo leads. And we spoke a little bit about the Parks and Rec and Joyce Kachia up at the rec office and the guys who prepared the fields for us this year before the season started. Did a great job of adding clay to some of the fields, and they come up and cut the grass once the season starts, keep things nice and neat. We haven't had much problem with weather. We haven't had too many rainouts, really. We had a couple 2 weeks ago. We got tonight's game in, but the fields haven't really been damaged much by bad rain and heavy rain. So
No, not at all. I mean, we had that one really bad week where it seemed to be rainy and windy and cold that whole week. And
we actually played 2 days that week. We played that Monday and Thursday. Had to cancel Tuesday and Wednesday. But
yeah. I mean, in previous years, when before all the improvements that the city has gradually done for us over the years, for the previous years, we would have not played it at all. So for us to have played 2 games that week is definitely improvement.
The fields handle the weather much better than they had, and we thank the Parks and Rec Department, DPW guys, for all their support, as they always have. This is their facility. This is a city park. We use it, but it's their park, and they take care of it and maintain it and really help us a lot, especially before the season starts, getting everything ready. So.
Absolutely, and they're very, very supportive of Lapolla Little League, as they have been over many administrations over many years. So we always, we always thank the city for all they do for us.
Here's Aiden Repollet now, lead off the 4th for the Firefighters. Aiden struck out his first time up. Chris gets on top of him, 0-1. One and one now to Aiden. So there is a mercy rule. We don't want to go there yet. It is 8-0, but it's a 10-run lead after at least 4 innings of play. So, but we got to look out. The darkness is a little issue here now too. It's still a little early. The weather holding off for us. Swung on and missed.
Coming up on about 7:15
yeah,
in the
which
evening.
Normally we have a good 45 minutes, but there is no sun, but we should be okay. That pitch on the inside corner, strike 3.
Oh, Aiden got a little fooled by that. Again, a lot of these
Pitch by Chris.
young batters get a little skittish about those inside pitches, but they're over the plate. They're strikes like anything else. That's why it's always good for young pitchers to use that inside part of the plate. It makes them very effective. They can learn that at this young age.
Here's Robert Garcia now. Robert flew out to center his first time up. Ground ball to second. Nice play by Nick. Fields and throws. So good contact by Robert. I told you his first time up that he's a good hitter. He's got a nice lefty stroke,
Absolutely.
hit the ball hard. His first time up, hit a nice hard grounder there. Good play by Nick staying with, and he got a bad hop over there like Will did, but Nick was able to stay with it and throw Robert out. But Robert making contact. Two good times here now tonight.
Absolutely.
Here's Christian Lent now. Pitch on the outside corner, strike one. We mentioned Christian's dad, Jay, is coach of the Firefighters.
Christian is 11 years old this year, so he has another year of eligibility with us.
1-1. Just off the outside corner. 2-1 now to Christian. Jordan Lent on deck. 2 out here in the bottom of the fourth. 8-0 Navajo leads the Firefighters. That pitch in there for a call strike. Nice pitch by Chris.
Again, looked like on that inside part of the plate. Batters are, again, a little skittish about trying to swing at that pitch.
High and outside. 2-2. 3-2 rather. Our minor B game has concluded, as has our T-ball game. So we're the lone wolf. Game moving along though, not too bad. Fourth inning.
About an hour into it. More than halfway through.
Pitch high. Ball 4. So Christian draws a walk. 2-out walk.
Way to stay in there by Christian. You know, Chris tried to overthrow the last 2 pitches, try to get him out, but again, Christian had a good eye for the strike zone, and you got a runner on with 2 outs.
Here's Jordan Lent now. Jordan struck out his first time up. 2 outs, runner at first. Pitch in there for a strike. Nice pitch at the knee. Dirt. Nice play. Throw down. Got him. Good throw by catcher Josh Shea.
May not have been a very smart play by Christian to do that, especially being down 8-0.
I think he saw the ball in the dirt.
Thought maybe it was going behind him, I guess.
Get by Josh. I'm pretty sure that was Josh Shea, who went from shortstop to catcher and made the throw down for the tag out for the 3rd out. So that retires the side here at the end of 4. It's Navajo 8 and the Firefighters 0. Now we did mention in the last half-inning break about Tompkins Park, this facility here. It is a park facility, and I can take you back to probably the mid-70s. Peekskill Lapolla Little League, our main field was down on Louisa Street, where the Peekskill Stadium is now. And the minor league, that's where the major leagues played mostly. The minor league would play there once in a while, but the minor leagues would use St. Joseph's Field. They would use the park softball field. They had actually built the field on the other side of Louisa Street in the little gully over there where the minor leagues would play. Franklin Park, minor leagues would play. And the city built this complex up here. The field below us where the minor Bs were playing became a field that all Peekskill Lapolla Little League minor league games were played. And there was only one minor league back then. There was no A or B.
Right.
It wasn't even T-ball. And the field we're on now, the upper field, the Lapolla field, was for senior league, 13, 14, and 15-year-olds, because there actually was a senior league at the time. And the field was configured a little different. Our left field corner is where home plate was, and where we are now would be deep right center field. There actually was a fence. So that's how this complex came about. And then when the whole league moved up here, senior league went to the Depew Park, and all of Peekskill Lapolla League came here. They built a concession stand, and that was always, Catherine used to tell us, was Ray's idea, that have all your games at one place, have your concession there. Everybody's there all the time, and you make your money on your concession stand. So
it's amazing how visionary Ray Lapolla was, wasn't it?
It really was, and it was a great idea. And And, you know, they added the T-ball field somewhere around the mid-'80s, I'm guessing, when they added T-ball to the league. So,
yeah, T-ball is actually one of our more popular divisions. We have, we have the 4 divisions. We have the major, the minor A, the minor B, and the T-ball. We have 4 T-ball teams in Lapolla Little League, and they're all full rosters. So we have about 45 to 50 kids, ages 4 or 5.
Nick Fonseca, the batter now, up for his 3rd time. He struck out twice. Lon on the mound for the Firefighters. We're in the top of the 5th. It's 8-0 Navajo. I think John Pagan got nipped with that foul ball. 1-1.
And I remember the days when I was doing some volunteering umpires. I've had more than my share of nicks, and as I'm sure you have too, Dixie.
Definitely. In there for a call strike 2. You see John wears the protector underneath his shirt. And I think I've seen you occasionally use the big blow pad to protect yourself a little better.
Yeah, I kind of mix it up. I kind of feel I'm still in good enough a shape that I can kind of crouch down and hide my whole body behind it.
It's funny because I saw Kevin Riley, one of our former players and a volunteer umpire for us for years, and he actually did a game for us this year. 3-2 now to Nick. And Kevin asked me, do you have the big blow pads up at Little League? And I said, yeah, why? He goes, because I'm getting hit all the time.
We actually have 2 of them.
Yeah, I told him we had some up here, that if he wanted one, he could take one and use it. But he's going back old style. You know, he said he does a lot of Cortlandt National Little League games.
Okay.
Does some for us, does a lot of high school, but he said he's getting hit a lot, so he wants to go to the blow pad. So.
Yeah, as far as I know, they haven't been taken out of from a regulation standpoint. So.
Not. So Nick Fonseca draws a walk to lead off the 5th here for Navajo, and that'll bring up Kyle Perez. First baseman. Kyle, as we mentioned before, a CYFL player, played for the Colts, and Bob Kelleher and his father Dave, also one of the coaches for the Colts. That pitch in the dirt gets away. Fonseca will get to second.
Al's timing was a little off there.
8.
Al short-armed that a little bit, unfortunately. His timing was a little off. Oh, he's down to first base. Did he get hit by that pitch?
Oh, maybe he did. Might have hit him. First and second now for Max Iodice. That pitch high and outside gets away from Christian to throw down. Not in time, backed up nicely by Robert.
Very nice play by Robert Garcia there, doing position in perfect position to back up the throw, as you should be.
I think this is a little dilemma Coach Egan has. Pitch swung on and missed. No go from third. Is Jordan's his best pitcher? Obviously struck out 13 kids. Christian is probably his second best pitcher, and he's a little limited. I think Al's still trying to learn.
Well, Christian pitched the last game before this one, and because of the pitch count rules, not only is it limited to the number of pitches you throw, but depending on how many you throw, is a certain number of full days rest that the player must have before he can come back.
That pitch fouled off by Max, and I think the Firefighters have another game 2 days from now, so probably use Christian that game. Then they have a break over the Memorial Day holiday, and we'll be back playing, as I think Mike Miner and MJM will be telecasting the game next week from St. Columbanus Field. So we hope they'll get that worked out with Cortland American. Here's a wild pitch in the dirt, and Fonseca will score the 9th run now for Navajo. And Kyle Perez will move down to third base. (9-0) Navajo lead here in the top of the 5th. A little outside, so Max draws a walk. First and third. We do have an official game. We should mention that because it is starting to get a little dark with all the cloud cover.
4 full innings are innings, so that does make it an official game under Little League rules.
Pitch outside, runner goes, and on first and third there'll be no throw. Second and third for Colin Kennedy now. Colin has struck out twice. That pitch swung on and missed. Gets away from Christian. No go. Almost had two kids at third base.
Yeah, good backup by Al there. As soon as that ball gets behind the catcher, it's the pitcher's responsibility to rush in there and try to cover home for a possible play. keeps that third base runner from coming in.
Pitch swung on and missed. Good job. 0-2 to Colin Kennedy now.
The lefty pitcher's got that little bit of a natural break on their pitch, almost like a slider.
And that pitch swung on and missed. So the batter is out. Christian will throw
But he's
home.
got it.
But Colin will be able to get to first.
Actually, it's a heads-up play by Colin. He did realize that he had the third strike that got by Christian, allowed him to get on base.
And Christian threw home to Al, but no advance from Kyle from third, so they weren't able to get anybody on that play. If he throws to first, maybe the run comes home from third.
It was a safe play by Christian, as it turns out. It was a safe play.
Here's Chris Parks now, bases loaded and nobody out here in the top of the fifth. That pitch swung on and missed. No go by Kyle. It's almost like Al's ball's moving so much, Christian having a tough time handling it.
Like I said, these lefty, even at this age, lefty throwers have that natural rotation and break that the righties don't always have.
0-1. 0-2 now to Chris Parks.
Yeah, he's got that. Looks like he's got that little bit of a downward break going with his pitch there.
That one in the dirt. Christian not able to get it. Kyle starts but stops. Good hustle. 1-2 to Chris Parks. 8-0 Navajo leads the Firefighters here at Peekskill Lapolla Little League Baseball. We're at Tompkins Park. I'm Joe DeChristopher along with Chris Hanslick.
Oop, got behind him on that one.
They'll go.
Well, thought about going from third.
Mike Miner manning his new truck out there in center field. MJM Productions and his brother Billy on one camera. And our buddy Jesse Girola on the other camera. That pitch in there for a call, strike 3. So Al gets the strike out of Chris Parks.
Actually, there's again another good pitch on the inside part of the plate. That's again, if you, as a young pitcher, if you can watch that, if you can control that inside part of the plate, you'll get a lot of outs at this level. Without having to throw anything fancy in terms of curves or anything else, just a matter of location.
Okay, here's Luke Selmakovich.
Nice play by Christian there.
Luke singled and struck out. That pitch swung on and missed. Runner will come. Kyle stops about halfway, goes back.
Trying to get him to bait and throw, and Al didn't bite.
Smart play by Al.
As it turns out, this pitching combo of the Firefighters has gotten them a little off balance. You know, Jordan had a little bit of heat, and now Al's come back with, not as fast, a little bit of more movement on his pitches, and he does have the batter's off balance.
That's a good way to go sometimes. Go from hard to slow. Slower, I should say. That pitch nubbed along the first base line. Will go foul.
Good play by Al. Way to actually take the play in foul territory. Because that ball actually looked like it had a chance to come back into fair territory.
One out. Pitch outside. Two-two to Luke Selmakovich. That pitch swung on and missed, strike 3. So Al gets a strikeout.
Looked like that pitch was a little high and outside, but again, probably had good enough movement on it to keep Luke off balance. So maybe he can get out of this jam.
2 outs. Aiden Grabari now. Aiden is 2 for 3. Single twice, it flew out to center. That one chopped foul back at home plate. Foul ball. So Al trying to work out of this. Gives up 1 run so far. So it's 9-0. My bad. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9-0. They did score a run.
I'm sure Navajo's trying to get that 10th run to force it to be the last inning unless the Firefighters score.
And Little League rule is the home team has to bat. It's not automatic after 4 innings.
That is correct.
Home team has to bat in that inning. You have to complete the inning.
Looks like that pitch just missed.
2-1 to Aiden Grabari. Up, foul, and out of play. 2-2. Ground ball, third base. Sulev can't handle it. Gets through him. 1 run will score. 2 runs will score. Grabari will hold with a single. Colin Kennedy holds at second. So hard hit grounded by Grabari got through the wickets of Sulev.
I think Sulev thought it was going to come up and it stayed down.
That's what they always say. It's easier to come up than it is to go down. So keep your glove down.
That is correct.
Ball comes up, it's easier to pull yourself up than it is to try to drop your glove. So 11-0 now. Wild pitch. 1 runner advances. Grabari holds it first. So Al close to getting out of that inning. There's a hard shot foul. Almost took out Coach Josh down there. For Josh Shea. Josh's dad, Dave Shea, is the first base coach for Navajo. Jason Bopp is the manager. A little low. Runner goes down on the first and third situation. Second and third now with 2 outs here in the top of the 5th. 11-0 Navajo. There's a line drive to right center field, deep and out. A home run for Josh Shea. Hard line drive shot, 3-run homer.
That ball got out of here in about 2.5 seconds.
Wow. Josh has hit the ball hard every time up. He hit that 1 ball early, that 1 hop the fence. And this one was a line shot. He's a big boy. So he has a 3-run homer. That kind of breaks it wide open for Navajo. But Al hanging in there. Coach Dave Shea, his opposing coach, giving Al some encouragement. That won't bother Al. Al will be out there chucking.
Yeah, Al's got a good temperament. And, you know, at this level, it's tough to have that. It really is, because it's very easy for kids to come a little unwound when things get out of control. But unfortunately, or fortunately, that's part of the game. That's part of the learning curve that kids, playing any youth sports for that matter, have to have. It's as much about the mental development as it is the physical development.
That one fouled off by Josh Gillison. So Josh Shea with a 3-run homer. Give Navajo a 14-0 lead now. Here's a ground ball back to the mound. Josh Fields throws to Jordan and got his foot down just in time to get the 3rd out. So nice play by Al and Jordan to retire the side, but not before 5 runs rather scored by the Navajo, and they lead 14-0 as we head to the bottom of the 5th. So as we said, Firefighters are going to have to score 5 runs here in order to keep the game moving. But it's getting dark. Felt a few raindrops, so we'll see what happens. We got Kyle Perez now going to move to the mound for Navajo from first base. But we want to thank Mike again, Mike Miner.
Absolutely.
For televising tonight, and Billy and Jesse, the cameramen here, for coming up. And these kids were all excited when they found out the game was going to be on. Even the kids from Navajo. They said, "What channel?" I said, "I don't know if you get the channel over in Cortland, but if you got some relatives over here in Peekskill, channel 78, the government channel."
Well, we're going to get the email address of the Navajo managers and coaches, and Mike, as part of what he does a link through YouTube as well. So.
Okay. All right, I should have known that, or I don't know that.
Well, actually, I had to be reminded of that.
Yeah.
So, as it turns out, I couldn't reach it.
Good try.
But yeah, Mike, Mike is the videographer for the city of Peekskill as well. So, all the events that Mike does through the government channel are also linked up on YouTube.
There you go. So the kids will be able to watch their game on YouTube. Okay. We'll go to the bottom of the 5th. Go ahead, Chris.
I was saying, I think that I think Cortland does get the Peekskill channels. I think it's either channel 15 or 18 on Cablevision. I don't know what it is on Fios,
Okay.
but I've seen it. If you are a Cablevision subscriber, I think you can get it on 15 or 18, depending on what channel shows Peekskill.
Okay. And one other thing we want to mention tonight before we finish up is our dinner will be upcoming. We'll probably pick a date tonight. I know we're going to meet tonight after the game, and we'll have the dinner for the minor Bs, the minor As, and the major league players and their families at Cortlandt Colonial, who do a great job for us every year. That'll be probably later on in June, right after school closes or right before school closes.
Probably, since our season's ending a little earlier than it has in past years, looking probably sometime between the middle to end of June.
Okay.
And again, we'll look to hook up with the Liascos family at Cortlandt Colonial, who will always do a great job for us every year. And the T-Ball Awards will be coming up shortly too. I think tentatively we have it scheduled for the 11th, Saturday the 11th. We'll be here at our T-Ball field. That's always a very fun ceremony. To see the kids come up and get their trophies is, it's a bunch of smiles and a lot of high fives. The kids learn. That's the one thing they learn at T-ball level. They also learn how to do high fives.
Exactly. And the 4th of July parade coming up, obviously on Monday, the 4th of July. We plan on marching in the parade. We'll have to contact the guys at the fire department who run the parade.
Yep, we always get invited by Sue Sheridan, who's the liaison for the 4th of July parade just about every year, former president of the Peekskill Lapolla Little League and supporter, always extends an invitation to us here, and we gladly accept. And we had a pretty good contingent last year, if I remember. I think we had about, I don't know, we had anywhere from about 60 to 80 parents and coaches and players. Got a lot of good hands along the way, too.
There's Jordan now against Kyle Perez, and we'll get that information about the dinner and the parade out to everybody, out to the coaches and on the website as we get that nailed down. Strike 2 to Jordan.
It's tough to see the ball now, getting towards twilight, so it's a little tough to see right now.
That one fouled back by Jordan.
Remember that idea back then? Was it Al Rosen, was it, with the A's, who had the idea of the fluorescent baseballs?
Charlie Finley.
Oh, Charlie Finley, was it? Yeah.
Fluorescent baseballs.
Never took off, unfortunately.
No, Charlie had a lot of good ideas. Some not so good. Here's a hard grounder into right field. Let's see if they try to throw to first this time. And Jordan gets there. So he's got a base hit to lead off the 5th inning. That is Luke in right field. So Luke trying to get the throw to first again, as he had done earlier.
Second assist of the night, as a matter of fact.
But Jordan gets there in time. So he's at first with nobody out. Alon is the batter now. Peekskill needs to score a few runs, although, like we said, it's getting a little dark. Whether we could play a 6th inning or not really sure.
Well, that'll be John's call at this point.
That's John's call, exactly. And he's a veteran up. He knows safety is always first. But we'll see what proceeds here in the bottom of the 5th. That's a little low, 1-1. Low and in the dirt, gets past the catcher. And Jordan down to second base. Swung on a miss, 2-2. I think that's Aiden Grabari, who started the game at pitcher, now catching for Navajo.
Ooh.
It is bad. Foul ball. So no harm done. I tell you, when I umpired one of the Firefighters games 2 weeks ago, that happened at least 3 times. Hit the bat.
Yeah.
Both teams.
It happens a lot.
And what you have to make sure as an umpire is the ball doesn't go in fair territory.
That's right.
Which has happened. And I called it foul.
Oh.
Swung on a miss. Ball gets past Grabari. He throws to first in time to get Al for the first out. Good play by Aiden Grabari and first baseman.
I think Al slowed down just a little bit too early. If he had run through the base, he might have gotten there.
1 out now, runner at first. Here's Jaime Lopez now, the right fielder. Little inside. 1-0. Actually, the sky's brightening up a little bit. Foul ball.
As I say, you got some yellow lights on the cars out there in the parking lot. I can't think they're that strong.
No.
Yeah, but you're right. It did lighten up a little bit. You know, those dark clouds became lighter.
Inside, 2-1 to Jaime. Josh Leal on deck. 1 out here in the bottom of the 5th. Navajo leads the Firefighters 14-0. Outside. And a walk for Jaime. So he's on. First and second now with 1 out. And the Firefighters, their season is going quickly.
Yes.
They play tonight. They're going to play Thursday. They have another game right after Memorial Day and maybe 2 more after that. So I think they have four games remaining.
Yeah, they had a few rainouts, so things have gotten a little backed up as we get, towards the end of May into June, which typically happens when you have a little bit of rain in the Little League season.
Here's Josh Leal, first pitch in there for a strike. And actually this morning, before I went to work, started planning out rain dates for tonight's games.
Yep.
And that one poked foul behind first base, 0-2 to Josh. And I can erase all that because we didn't get rained out.
Well, Dixie, you are our master schedule guy and have always, over many, many years, been able to juggle all the dates and the reschedulings, and it's always worked out in the end. So, hats off to you.
Always feel like stay a little ahead of the game. If you have a date picked before it even rains, and at least you're not waiting around, and
Oh, absolutely.
try to get those games made up as soon as possible. But luckily we got lucky tonight. Got all 3 games in, not even a problem. Not even close to being a problem. That one fouled straight back by Josh.
Josh hanging in there.
1 out. Runners at first and second. No go on the foul ball for the Firefighters.
Sometimes you don't have to swing hard if you just get the ball on the, bat on the ball.
And there for a call, strike 3. Nice pitch by Kyle for the second out.
One of those pitches that maybe Josh thought it was borderline. That's why he laid off it.
Here's Sulev now. Sulev had a nice hard hit to right field his last time up. A good play by Luke in right field to throw him out at first base. First pitch is 1-0. A high and inside 1-0 count to Sulev. Sulev's a big boy, and he's just learning baseball. This is like his 2nd or 3rd year of playing. That pitch swung on and missed.
Yeah, Sulev is an 11-year-old. He'll be back with us next year.
Pitch in the dirt. His younger brother, Ivo, was playing down below, and his dad, Rain, sits right up at the top, which we've seen many parents do.
Yep.
2 kids playing at the same time. If you stand at the top field, you can watch both games at the same time.
And it's kind of a unique thing about our complex is that you can do that. We have Lapolla Field here sits up above Rundle Field, but they are essentially next to each other.
Yep.
Opposite orientation from each
Right.
other. So.
That pitch high, so Sulev draws a walk.
Yeah,
That loads the bases.
Loaded. This is the first serious threat we've had all day for Firefighters.
And here's Margaret now, Margaret Jennings.
See if we can get maybe a run across.
Bases loaded, 2 outs, bottom of the 5th inning. Navajo leads the Firefighters 14-0. I'm Joe DeChristopher, and with me is League President Chris Hanslick. We're here at Tompkins Park for an interleague game. First pitch in there for a call strike to Margaret. Margaret looks ready. She's an aggressive hitter. She's Get a little overmatched once in a while, but there you go. Nice cut.
I like Margaret a lot. She actually made a majors team as a 9-year-old, which you know, it's very, you know, for a young girl to do that, it speaks a lot to her you know, to her makeup.
And she really has done well, has hung in there and worked very, very hard.
Some of our best players in the league over the years, and we can both attest to that, have been girls.
Oh yeah. That pitch high, 2-2.
I tell you, we have a lot of young girls in our lower divisions that are playing very good, and I would expect if they keep playing with us, they're going to be forces in our league next couple of years.
3-2 now to Margaret. And in the dirt, ball four. So Margaret draws a walk, drives in a run. She gets an RBI.
Another smile on her face, good to
There you
see. And the shutout is broken.
Here's Will Kingston now. So Kyle Perez, the third pitcher used by Navajo today. That pitch gets away, ball one, no go. Jaime on third base, you don't want to take a jam. Sure, yeah. Coach Egan, you can see him right now. I tell you, you're not going anywhere. Pitch swung on and missed by Will, a little high, but taking the aggressive approach. 1-1. Fouled off.
Oh, good swing by Will that time.
1-2 now to Will Kingston.
Again, Will's a 10-year-old and got a good makeup. He's going to be a good player for us in the next couple of years.
Popped up on the infield. Chris Parks.
Ooh.
Can't make the play. Nice try by Chris. And I got to tell you, Chris, as a football player, Chris Parks, I told you, had great hands. He has a habit of diving for every ball that he catches, even when he doesn't have to. We would practice throwing before practice, you know, throwing pass patterns. And that pitch swung on and missed by Will to end the game. But just to get back to that quick note about Chris Parks, he would dive for every ball and catch everything. So him diving for that foul ball is nothing new to Chris.
Kid's going for that ESPN moment. So.
Good try by Chris, and Will strikes out to end the game. Good job by Kyle to finish off Will to finish the game off. So our final score is Navajo 14 and Peekskill 1. Good job by the Firefighters and Navajo team both. You see Coach Egan talking to umpire John Pagan. Thanks to John Pagan for
customary handshake at the end of every Little League game.
Yep.
Again, showing signs of sportsmanship.
And the interleague thing, that's part of it. You know, these kids come from different towns. They might know each other through other things. Thank you, John. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. So that'll do it here from Tompkins Park. The final score is the Navajo of the Peekskill of the Cortlandt National Little League 14 and the Firefighters from Peekskill Lapolla Little League 1. We hope to see you for another game next week over at St. Columbanus at the home of the Cortlandt American Little League. We'll see the Firefighters play again. Try to get that squared away with the people over at Cortlandt American. And thanks again to Mike Miner and NJM and Billy Miner and Jesse. And this is Jody Christopher and Chris Hanslick. And until next time, thank you and good night.
Good night.